So the community conversion system, which is basically just a fancy marketing angle or a name for a process that we've been using for 3 years. You might have heard us reference this process as group juice, growing and monetizing communities, doing all this type of stuff. It's at its core, we do the exact same thing in our business day in and day out, have been for years. Uh, with all of our offers, it's usually just different levels of depth as far as what we're covering in our actual offers, right? But it's always back to these same four principles that we're going to be covering with you guys today. So the two types of people that this will help the most, obviously somebody who's newer, beginner, doesn't necessarily mean you're brand new to online business, but if you're sub 5K per month online, with who's overwhelmed with options, what are you supposed to do, where to actually get started, and what to actually focus on in the beginning, especially because a lot of people are actually still working full-time jobs, right? They're very strapped for time. They don't know, hey, I only got 3 hours a day or whatever, or maybe even less. I don't know what I need to be focusing on, right? So we want to give you guys the things that are going to move the needle in your business in the simplest and the fastest way possible, because it's really not that many things, especially even to this day, our business is very lean, right? Or number two would be the veteran, someone who's already doing 5K plus per month online, but they're clocking more hours than they were when they were working a full-time job, which is really not that uncommon. Me and Flip talk to people that are doing very well online, and they're like, I'm doing 9 hours a day on sales calls. I have 75 calls this week, like just working themselves into the ground to keep their business afloat. So we'll kind of help with both of those two different type of people and anybody else, right? Um, so before we dive in, most concepts, strategies, models can and will work if you do. And this, I wanted to include this because this is a big part of it, right? Like we're simply sharing with the process that has worked extremely well for us. It's worked extremely well for our students, but you have to apply the stuff that we're giving you. And this goes for anything online. Okay, there's so many different, some people will tell you, oh, high ticket's dead, low ticket's dead. Facebook groups are dead. All of them fucking work. All of them work, right? All of it will work if you work, right? This is simply the thing that we like to do and what we have been doing for years that aligns with our lifestyle, a clear calendar, profitable, fun, enjoyment, while still running a business and having impact for our actual clients. Not to mention that it was really the only thing that kind of really started to work for us in 2021, because we bought all the done for you. We bought all the plug and play products. We tried to do all the systems and the automations and the sales calls, and we spent tens of thousands of dollars and years going in circles. Like it was a very long time before we ever cracked our code, so to speak. And this is the process we have discovered and continue to use for years.
100%. And a quick disclaimer. As you can see, these two fairly good looking guys, right, in the pictures. Our business has done over $1 million. Okay. And in no way, shape, or form are we saying that you guys can or will make the same or get the same results that we have. But we do have a rather large track record of folks doing very, very well with what we're about to share with you today. Nate and I have put in the blood, sweat, tears, frustration, investments, time, effort, energy, and all that shit to get to where we are today. And it does take work. All right. So now that the little disclaimers out the way, we can kind of talk a little bit about how we actually got here. Okay. As Nate likes to say, before we got internet married, we did struggle for a long ass time. Okay. I struggled for 3 years. So did Nate. A little bit of irony there because we both were in the bullshit, in the trenches, trying to figure stuff out. I know for a fact, me personally, I dropped about 40 grand while I was working at the plant, trying to buy courses and hire mentors and shit like that. And I didn't have anything to show for it. So literally tens of thousands invested into courses and stuff. We basically just donated to a good cause, right? Hundreds of hours after long shifts at work. I used to work 14, 16-hour days. 12-hour shifts were what was scheduled, but as a supervisor, you always have to work a little longer. And I was doing stuff after I got off work. I was doing stuff and consuming trainings while I was driving to and from work. Right? Like I had no excuses. I was tired. Hell yeah. But I did shit after work and before work. And if I'm honest, I even did stuff during work and my little breaks that I would get throughout the day. Credit card debt, like literally this is from Nate's perspective, running ads, right? He tried that, so did I. I got burnt on $2,000. $2,000 with ad spend and made a $23 commission. Not really the ROI that you would want to see when you drop $2,000 on paid ads, if I'm being honest. But we both had the thoughts like, maybe I'm just not cut out for this shit. I just need to stick to what I know. Right? Blue collar, steel toes, let's go. Right? The 12 plus months of watching everybody else win and wonder when were we gonna win? When are we gonna start seeing results? Why is this not working for me? Why is it working for them and not me? Right? We were spending a shit ton of time on Zoom calls in other people's Facebook groups trying to add friends, just like we were taught to do. Okay. We went through all those phases. And we definitely sent the messages like, hey, I see that you're into affiliate marketing. It's great to be connected. We were so fucking generic that it was not even funny. Right? We had no idea that we could really be ourselves and be like, hey, what's cracking, man? How's your Monday going? Right? We didn't know you could be yourself. Okay. So we've honestly been there and we struggled a lot more than people realize. And I think that's why we were able to do what we have done. We've struggled and failed more than most people. And the biggest catalyst is like we didn't quit. We were losing and failing and donating money and investing and all this good stuff, but we did not quit. We were either too dumb to quit or either we were too hungry to quit. I don't know which one you'd like to call it, but whatever. But this is when everything started to change for us around 2020, 2021. And that's when we started to figure out, okay, we've actually got something here because we were starting to grow our audiences. We were starting to have more conversations. We had people following us and adding us as a friend and sending us messages, joining our groups. It was pretty wild. And between the strategy that we accidentally figured out, that same year, both Nate and myself, we both hit 6 figures as affiliates. Right, it was pretty wild. Now, we did start to sell more of the trending products, you could say, but we had one thing that really helped us a lot, and that was 1, being ourselves, and 2, we were creating short form video, and 3, focusing on a group. All right. Now we started to spend less time trying to sell to people. We were just showing up, sharing good shit, like actual information that was helpful to people. We were waking up to hundreds of people trying to join our groups and ask us for help, right? Even though we weren't trying to sell anything like directly. It was pretty wild. Now, we enjoyed our business more because it was pretty simple. We wrote some simple Facebook posts. We posted in our groups. We went and done trainings in there, and we posted short form video. Everything pointed to our group. It made selling a lot easier because folks were coming and asking us what we were doing, if we would help them, and if we had any information for them so they could buy something, right? We didn't have to clock crazy hours to keep things floating and rocking, okay? So I'm gonna hand it over to Nate after saying, when we started to teach this at the start of 2022, this is what's responsible for over I think it's like $3.6 million in results that we can actually track, right? So that's track sales. But I'll let Nate walk you guys through some of the stuff that's happened.
Yep. So yeah, obviously this was like the turning point. And the thing is, we like Flip mentioned, it was we were both using this long before we ever even launched a program on it. Like we launched our signature offer in Group Juice in 2022, but we already did it that full year individually before we ever even started giving it to people or talking about it or running a paid program about it. On a deeper level, I think it works so well is because it's a completely different nuance. You have a lot of the market who tries to just sell products right out of the gate, and like selling your community on the front gate is like way lower pressure. And then the natural side effect of that is you get more exposure to your offer anyways. So I figured I would talk about a little bit of the student results. All right. We had somebody who actually exploded their community. I think it was in less than 60 days by 5,500 people, and add tens of thousands of dollars in sales to their business. We've had people do 100K in 100 days leveraging this process. We've had people stack recurring income streams that have gotten them out of their jobs. The stay-at-home moms who added 100K to their annual raise and at home with their kids 24/7. The dads who've been sick to their teeth from missing all the precious moments with their kids, similar to how we were. Why we started businesses in the first place was to be around our kids more. Um, we've got to help them get out of their jobs, right? We've helped people working full-time jobs add six figures to their income using this process. And the best part about all of this, and I think this is the part that lights Flip and myself up on fire the most, is they are running and building businesses that they love to run and live inside of and are glad to be building, right? If you guys take anything from today's training, is we don't want to teach anybody to go be a clone marketer or a mini version of Flip and Nate. We want you guys to identify what type of business you would actually enjoy living inside of and learn how to monetize that. Fun fact for the people that haven't been around that long, which there isn't very many, when we initially launched one of our programs, Group Juice, you already had to have something to sell. Right? It has never been a just show you how to sell our thing type of model. We want to implore people to understand how this process works, understand how the business works, so that way they can build a business they fucking love and they can monetize it however they see fit. These are just some of the awards from people that you might recognize some of these faces. Some of these faces might even be on this training with us right now. People who've used our process to add 10, 50K, 100K plus to their business. Some of them have done it in as little as 19 days, as much as 100K in 100 days. It is not we can't give you a set in stone. Hey, if you take this process, you're going to make a bunch of money in 15 minutes. Like, we don't know your background. We don't know your certain level of expertise or what you've tried prior, right? It's not a cookie cutter approach. But at the end of the day, if you apply yourself to it, it can in fact work because it's what we do every single day and we have been for years. And obviously the proof is in the pudding with some of the client results. It's almost double what we've done.
Yeah, it's a lot. Now, I already know a lot of y'all and folks that are going to watch this replay. One of the most common things that we hear is like, "Oh, y'all do good because you have an audience." Well, that's why we teach people how to build them. Okay, so some folks are like, I don't have a large audience or group or a following, and we're here to show you how to fucking build it, right? How to effectively have success, even if you don't have a huge audience. Like, listen to me when I tell you this. Right now, it has never been easier to get in front of hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people. It's never been easier than it is right now. You've just got to be able to create content in a way that captures attention. That is it. If you can do that, then you can grow an audience, you can grow a group, and you can monetize on social media, selling all different kinds of stuff. Okay. So that's what we want to show you. One of our biggest days to this date, right, in years of being in business, came from a tiny Facebook group that had like, what was it, Nate? 43 people, right?
It's either 43 or 48. I always get confused. We'll just go with 48 because there's more people in there.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
one of those two.
It was less than 50 people, right? And we did over $10,000 in a single day. That is payments processed, cash collected, going to the bank, right? In one single day. Okay. Now we've consistently done sales like this without 100,000 followers. Me and Nate, we don't have huge audiences, right? And the audience that we do have, let's take mine for example. I've got like 39,000 followers on TikTok, right? Maybe 2% of them people are active, right? Same thing on Facebook. It does not have to be a bunch of people. You could have 100 people that are the right people that follow you. And if only a small percentage of them bought a $3,000 thing from you, you'd be able to make a full-time income with 100 people, if they're the right people. Okay. So by the end of today, you will have clarity on the entire process. Okay. This shit is not that hard, guys. It takes work, yes, but it's as simple as we can make it. And the people that have followed through with this and stayed with it, you know, it's taken everyone different time frames, but the ones that stick with it do really, really well. Okay. So clarity on the whole entire process. It's done like $1,400 a day every single day for 900 plus days. That is the average. Okay. Some days we've did 10 grand. Some days we've, you know, made $1. Okay. But on average, if you look at everything combined, it's like $1,400 a day. Okay. Now, this is with small audiences, very small views. Nate and I barely go viral. The only time I go viral is when I talk shit about pedophiles, apparently. That one went viral. Okay, so other than that, I really don't go viral. Neither does Nate, unless he deep throats toothbrush, something like that. Number two, the plan to scale your business to 5, 10, 20K months without a bunch of fancy shit. Having a big team, having to hire people, having to sell your soul to the internet marketing gods for views, you won't have to do that. Okay. Now, real quick before I go to number 3, there's a lot of people preaching scale right now. If you don't have a process that you can be consistent with the results that you're getting, you know, whether it's leads, sales, acquisition, group growth, if you don't have something that is you're doing consistently, the word scale should not even be in your vocabulary, because you can't scale something that's not sustainable. Okay. If you got up and down months, like one month you make 500, next month you make nothing, the next month you make 1,000, next month is nothing, you can't scale that. Okay. So keep that in mind. Don't worry about scale until you have a consistent process. Number 3, this is repeatable. Okay. Nate and I have acquired new customers every single month for a few years now. Some way, form, or fashion, we get new customers every single month, whether it's something expensive that they buy or whether it's something inexpensive that they buy, or they just join the free group. Everyone that joins our free group, a chunk of them become customers at some point. All right. That's a part of the conversion process that we're going to cover today. All right. So we want you to have a repeatable process that you can leverage today, right? Depending on what time it is and whether you had meatloaf and a full belly, you know, because some of us might just pass out after this training. But you can leverage it as soon as today, this week, the rest of this month, to make the rest of the year better than the beginning. Okay. So doesn't matter if you're brand new, doesn't matter if you're already cranking out consistent sales. We want to show you how to streamline it, decrease your workload, and increase the productivity. Okay. In a sense, it's security. Now, our shit has continued to evolve, but the model has not changed. Okay. So I'm gonna hand it back over to Nate, and I'm gonna drink some Dr. Pepper.
So we've talked about the 4 phases of business, or the 4 buckets of business that we condense everything into. And these are it. We categorize everything into these 4 things, right? So attention is your content creation, your public stuff, your TikToks, your reels, your Facebook profile, anywhere that's pulling attention to your brand, your business, who you are as a human being, right? That's at its core, creating as much attention as you can to yourself. Now, again, you don't have to go regularly make a viral. Like, I literally can't even remember the last time I had a viral video, but we need to have some type of consistent. We need to have some type of consistent attention medium for yourself. Okay. Some way for you to continuously bring eyeballs onto you as a person. And notice, I didn't say anything about your product. And I think this is a very big misconception in the market right now, is where everybody just wants to talk about their product right out of the gate, where we actually need to flip that on its head. We need to talk about you, who you are as a person, because at the end of the day, you need to sell people on you as a human being, and they're going to get sold on that long before they ever purchase anything from you. Then we have your indoctrination, which is a fancy word for community. We look at your indoctrination station could be defined as a nurturing platform. That's community, your own group And the reason that we're so big on communities is because it creates security for everybody's business. And I don't care what anybody says or talks about it. Like, if you want to play this game and you want to have a lot of impact, you want to make a lot of money, you have to have your own group. I don't care if it's on school, if it's on Facebook, if you want to use a YouTube channel, fine. But you have to start building a nurturing platform of your own, right? We ran the same Facebook groups for years and years and years through all the different ventures, through all the different business models, through all the different struggles and trials and error, and then through all the success. And there's people in that group that joined that group years ago that are on this call right now, right? And that's because they saw me in this group, showing up in this community, giving more value. And the power of this is A, it shrinks your sales process, right? This is a big reason why we don't have to do calls. Our conversations are really short because we structure our groups in a way that people can come in and just consume. We want to drive consumption of you as a human being. Posts, written posts, pictures, videos. I know that sounds scary getting on camera and doing a video, but it'll be worth it. Then you got the conversion piece. Now, I would we do DMs. We do DM conversations with Google Docs to close sales. That doesn't mean you can't use calls. You can't use however you want to convert sales. I would highly encourage you to pick one though, instead of like, hey, I want to close in 5 or 6 different ways, just because you'll create lack of clarity in your own process. So that's the conversion piece, and then the retention. We're very big on retention because acquiring customers are cool and all, but keeping them is even cooler. This is how you end up building monthly recurring revenue. This is how you end up having a lot of impact in your actual clients' lives by working with them for prolonged periods of time. We have people in our coaching program right now that were with us before we ever even launched a single product. It's coming up on 3 years of working on with us in a private mentorship. So this is everything we focus on. And mind you, you're not going to build all 4 of these today. You're not going to have all of these 4 things dialed in at all the time, right? Sometimes you're going to have to ebb and flow between 4 of these, right? Like, hey, my content isn't really hitting lately. I'm not getting any views. Nobody's coming into my group. Okay, well, then let's put a little bit of energy into this. Let's spend the next 2 weeks dialing in and testing in some content. Hey, I got a bunch of people coming into my group, but sales aren't happening. Okay, well, what's happening in the conversations or what's happening in the content inside of the community, right? Like, this is why we structure our business in this way, because if anything starts happening in our business, we only have to worry about fixing one of these 4 things. Make sense?
100%. And none of y'all here are like, everybody here is intelligent. Okay. And the reason I say that is, like, some people are hard on themselves. If you can see a problem in your business between 1 through 4, like, you can fix it. If you're not getting the attention, you probably need to post more. You probably need to try different hooks. You probably need to try different styles of content, right? If folks aren't joining your group, it's probably still going to come back to number 1. You haven't given them a good enough reason to join it. If a lot of folks are in your group and they aren't moving, then it's likely being missed somewhere around what you're talking about, or the wanted, desired outcome isn't clear, right? They might not be problem aware, or they might not be solution aware, or they might just not be aware at all. I had someone comment on a group post in my Facebook group that they joined, answered questions, got on my email list, went through my sequence, and they still commented on a post and said, "Hey, what's this group all about?" And I was like, well, shit. Okay. Anyways, if you can figure out what the problem is, then it's pretty simple to kind of work backwards and figure out what it is, because it's probably going to be one of those 4 there. And shout out to Nate for those awesome pictures with the arrows. Like, you can see social media and posting and emojis. I don't know why he didn't throw his favorite emoji in there.
The dancing one, yep. I should have did it on there, in full transparency, a lot of you guys won't even have this yet. A lot of you guys won't have to worry about this yet. Like, if let's say you're not making sales, you're not consistently getting clients, then the retention isn't a big one. that you really have to worry about fixing right now if you're not already making sales. But if you can look, if let's say you're already doing 5K plus per month, if you can start looking at ways to create more recurring revenue, it does make the first three a lot better because the content becomes less pressurized. You can sell to more specific people, their results go through the roof, and then you have easier marketing and it just becomes this flywheel effect. But the majority of people really only have these three to start. And more often than not, it's primarily fixing this first, and then this, and then this. It's a cause and effect, right? You're not going to get community members if you're not creating attention, and then you're not going to get even the opportunity to talk to people or make sales if we're not doing one of the two above. Best case scenario, both of them, but I know that's a daunting task, right?
Yeah,
Um,
shout out again on the pictures there because they're actually pretty awesome. All right. So next we're gonna kind of walk through some more important shit. Attention means growth, eyeballs, and brand awareness, meaning you're getting in front of people. We're trying to attract attention to ourselves. Quite different than how we were raised, like stay to yourself, don't tell nobody your business, this, that, and the third. Complete opposite nowadays. Okay. I know how I was raised, my dad was like, hey, you don't tell people what you're dealing with, what you're going through, how much money you got, what you're doing, always move in silence. Complete opposite with this. Took me a long time to kind of accept that and become cool with it. But this all comes back down to having your shit structured correctly. All right. We want attention, right? If you want attention to your brand and your business, put a number 1 in the chat just so I can know you're with me. Right? Because if you're not getting attention, you're not generating leads. If you're not generating leads, you're not having conversations. If you're not having conversations, your ass definitely ain't making sales. If you ain't making sales, then you've probably got one of the most expensive hobbies out there, kind of like me with hunting. Right? It's my most expensive hobby. All right.
at least you get food out of it.
I do get food. Well, I'll be winning on hunting because I'll be laying some stuff down. All right. You better believe that. I'm an A1 killer when it comes to hunting. Now, the structure is like one of the most important parts and singular pieces of the puzzle. And this needs to be treated that way. All right. If you fuck up the structure in the beginning, don't worry about building something that's long term, going to stand the test of time, not crumble when you start putting weight on it, etc. All right. Focus on using massive attention that you gain to grow your own community. Me and Nate have said this probably a million times at this point. It's like we'll show you guys and help you guys, with other offers. If you want to promote our free group, that's fine and dandy. But it's also very, very important to grow your own group. We've seen a lot of people get absolutely dicked by growing someone else's group, and the person's group that they were growing just basically gobbled up all the folks, all the leads, moved them, did not let the people cookie them correctly, so they didn't get any credit. Like we do have a cookie system if you promote our group, which is why I think people love it. Like if Lauren or Eddie send someone to our free group, if that person decides to buy something today, they get a commission. If they buy something 6 months from now, they get a commission. Right? So it's like almost filling up the goodwill in the bank account. Right? So keep that in mind. But grow your own community rather than trying to onboard a bunch of coaching clients or sell premium services, because this way you can build rapport and deeper connections like at scale inside of your own group. If they take a step to join your group because of something that you're offering or sharing inside the group for free, then they're already taking the next step towards you and getting closer to becoming a customer or a client or a student, etc. All right. Me and Nate having our own Facebook group where we were sharing shit when we didn't know shit about shit. A lot of people started listening to us and they watched us grow. Right? There's still people in our Facebook groups now that was with us in the beginning. I'm talking friends and family. They was like, hey, we'll support your flip. Right? They stayed and watched everything happen in real time. Okay. So number 2, when you create your own content, it is unique to you. Right? If you talk a certain way, if you say words a certain way, if you have a specific style of teaching, if you say fuck rather often, such as myself, or you have a certain sense of humor like Nate, like this is what's going to be unique to you. Okay. outsource and schedule content creation if you want to, right? Make sure that you're creating short form videos. This is like the quickest way to get traffic to whatever it is you want traffic to, whether it's a funnel that you have, a stand store, but we would say your own group. People are confused because when you land on our website, you really can't buy anything right there other than the membership, but that's just there as a placeholder. The main thing that we are pushing people to is our free group. This is where all the magic happens, okay? So if you want more traffic, grow your own group. For example, a client recently just grew their Facebook profile to 55,000 followers and added 1,000 group members and made almost $3,000 in less than 45 days. One piece of content did this, kind of like a TikTok video. It can be shared across multiple platforms and fuel community growth. This is why Nate and I use Repurpose. We post once on TikTok and it goes to multiple different places. I think a dozen different places at this point. If you need an affiliate link, holler at your boy. We got your back like a bra strap. But we like omnipresence. We don't try and be in 100 places at once. We show up and post on TikTok. Everything else goes everywhere automatically. We don't have to worry about it. We don't even manage other social media platforms. If they don't see our content and join our group, we don't worry with it. Right? So keep that in mind. And then number 3, other people's distribution of content. Now, you can definitely leverage other people's audiences by, participating in podcasts or getting interviewed or interviewing other people, right? People that you like and you listen to. We got a couple interviews lined up where some folks want us to come in their group and, drop some ball-headed dark humor bombs from myself and Nate. Like, we're looking forward to it. Now, live interviews, training swaps, like I'll teach in your group, you teach in my group type style. These are things that can attract different people that would not have seen you. Like, oh, I just saw fucking Eddie and Lindley doing X, Y, and Z over in X's group. I thought that was pretty cool. So then they naturally going to go check you out and see what you're doing, right? That's kind of how it happens. Now, this is another way to build your ecosystems and make them stronger by cross-pollinating, if you will. It's one way you can look at it, right?
This
So
is a really,
keep these 3 things.
and this is a really powerful thing that I did early on in my own group. I was fun fact, that's actually one of the first things that me and Flip ever did together. I interviewed him inside of my community. So at its core, eventually you want to start creating layers in your business. Your public content, your TikTok, your Facebook profiles is purely designed, and the way that we operate it is usually to get people into the group. And that's step 1. That's where the relationship kind of starts. But the other people's audiences are like the cool part about having a group is everything that you end up putting in your group becomes a lead magnet. When I went and interviewed Flip in my group, as an example, I probably created 10 pieces of content. Look at what we've done with this training. We've created a bunch of public pieces of content talking about this live event happening. Where's this live event hosted? In our free group. There's a reason for that. We're trying to give them this valuable information, have them come hang out with us, but we also want them to consume more of the content in our community, which then drives them closer and closer or farther away from wanting to become a client of ours, right? And then I'm not going to run through, I did pin a bunch of other docs in here, but I'm not going to run through them. I did decide to give you guys deeper dives into each one of these phases, right? Because Flip and myself are long-winded and we could be here all day. But I did want to give you guys actual strategy and tactics related to what we're talking about in each phase. Okay, so this is the antiviral content strategy, talking about different types of content, hooks. The biggest thing with short form video, I'll like hook. That's going to be the biggest thing, the first couple seconds of your video, right? You need to start with the outcome right out of the gate, right? Like that needs to be the thing, because the attention span is so short with short form video content. They're just going to scroll right past. If there's half a second of dead space before you do a little intro, they're gone. They're not even going to watch that video. So you need to start with either an outcome or the overall agenda for that piece of content. That's a thing. But you have a whole plan around antiviral content strategies down here, and it's like obviously we're not going to run through all of these, but you have them at your
This
disposal.
is super stacked. All right, I'll tell you guys, because Nate said we don't have the time to go through it. That'd be like a whole nother session of training. But this training right here is something that we taught in a summit that we got invited to. Most of y'all should know Zeki. Some of y'all might not, but we were invited twice. Like it went so good the first time that he invited us back on the second summit. And Nate and I, believe it or not, we actually beat everyone. We were voted top guys on the summit. We also made the most affiliate sales. It was kind of cool. But this was a training that we taught that everybody absolutely loved. And we had the most watch time out of, I want to say it was like 14 or 15 speakers. Folks came and watched us the most. So you guys should definitely dive into the antiviral content strategy, study it, implement it, live it, breathe it, do it, all that good shit.
All about attention, right? Pulling in the right attention, more importantly, right? So then we got your indoctrination, pre-selling your offers and how you do things, aka your group, community. Having a community on a platform like school, Facebook, YouTube to share longer content and build relationships with your audience. Okay, this helps to reduce the resistance around sales over time, because you're showing what you do, how you do things. Like you're just giving a window into your life and business over prolonged periods of time, and it naturally starts to create sales opportunities for you. It's and it doesn't have to be, I know it could sound like a very intimidating task. And we had a client who was looking for, not a client. We were talking to somebody who has a very large audience, and this was their biggest concern was like, hey, I don't have time to manage my community. It usually takes me less than an hour to write all of the content that I post on all my socials a week. And the time that gets created or opened up in your business, if you make this the centerpiece of everything else, like, hey, I don't have the time to run a community because I'm doing all these calls a week. This is like, you could literally put more energy into growing a group and reduce 2 calls a week, and you would probably eventually be able to get off Zoom altogether. Right? We've processed 3,600 payments with no calls. But having somewhere that is yours as a whole, it needs to be yours. Like, if there's anything you guys take from today, which I know I already said that, is like, it has to be your group, because this is what's going to allow you to build a movement deeper than what you're selling, deeper than your products. You're going to build really cool connections, relationships, which a lot of the times, the way that this game ends up working, and realistically any business, is repeat customers. If you have a community and you're using it like your journal and you're documenting everything you're doing, things you're trying, things you're failing at, things you're testing, and things are working, and then, hey, maybe in 6 months you change business models. Now you're doing this. There's going to be bleed over if people are like, hey, that's pretty cool too. I'm going to go try that. Right? But that's not going to be possible if we don't front load the community of your own. Okay. The free bait, this is a big part of it. We talk about this all the time in Group Juice. We talk about this all of the time in general, getting some things inside of your community. Okay, because I think there's this paradox of groups. People start communities and then they get scared. I can't start posting in my group. There's nobody in there. Why would I post content in my community? There's nobody in my group yet. Well, that's how you're going to grow your group, because we can put stuff in your group, and then we can use that to go create attention. Like, hey, I just launched a 5-day workshop showing you how to lose 20 pounds while eating on keto. Give them 5 trainings. They come into the group. They lose some weight. Talk to them about potentially becoming a client. Right? Like, it's this cause and effect of doing the stuff. Right? So we do this all the time. If you look at, we just did it with this free training. We did it with the free workshop. That's a #1 thing that we talk about all the time in a lot of our content. Hey, when you come into our group, you can go get access to this free workshop. It's going to show you exactly what we did to make our first $10,000 profit online. So incentivizing. And these don't have to be live workshops, videos, trainings, tactics. These could be workbooks. These could be content hooks. These could be your weekly meal plan. Like, it could be literally anything that you use or a lead magnet that you already have, and you just layer it behind entry of your free group. This is what I started doing very early on in my journey. That really started to change the direction of my business. I hosted a 6-day fast start challenge, which basically covered how to set up your Facebook profile, how to write your first couple pieces of content, and then it shared a DM script. And then every time somebody on my socials, my TikTok, my Facebook profile, this was before Reels was a thing, they started asking about this thing. I said, yeah, you can get instant access when you join my group. As soon as they joined my community, I sent them the thing. Right. And you can do this with posts too. Hey, I wrote a post breaking down XYZ. Who missed it? Hey, I'm planning on doing this thing over inside of my community. If I can get 10 people to tell me they're interested. Right.
Yeah. And like, I'll throw this at you guys too. How many, like, honestly, y'all be honest. Okay. Like, don't lie to us. We can take it. I promise. So far, what we've shared, has it been a good refresher, good reminder, or brand new information? Has it been helpful? That's the main question. Has what we've covered so far been helpful? Just put
Super helpful.
super helpful. Okay, yes, I see some yeses in the comments. The reason I ask is because this training could be viewed as a lead magnet, right? We've been making a few posts and doing some videos about what we're doing right now with you guys live, and we're giving y'all like information that most people charge for. Why would we do that? We want to build the goodwill within our community. We want the relationships with all of you to get stronger. If any of you take some of this shit and go and get results, what is that going to do for you and us? One, it's going to help you get some quick wins. Two, it's going to be like, hey, Flip and Nate know what the hell they're talking about. This is great. We're just building up the goodwill, right? This is
Confidence.
how you can, like, yeah, all that, right? Good refresher, new to the brain, 100%. It can be simple stuff that you can share with your audience and promote. Like, we promoted this like it was a paid offer, even though we're giving it away for free. Why? Because we got new group members. We got how many? 24 of you guys with us hanging out live. Like, I know a bunch of you. I got a couple new faces in here, right? But like, we're just trying to give away good information to actually help folks. If y'all don't buy anything from us today or tomorrow or next week, totally fine. We're still building the goodwill, right?
Slowing down your sales process can be hard, but liberating, not only for you, but for your potential customers too. I think so many people are, fun fact, I've been playing around on Threads a little bit. It's like a cesspool over there. But so many people are like just so rushed to make sales. And I understand, like, you got bills, you got, your kids eat a bag of Cheetos every 15 minutes. If you're like my daughter or whatever, I don't judge. So, but slowing down, I mean, it's like, you got to remember, and I actually made a post about this today. It was like, you have to remember the other person on the other side of that screen, the person that's commenting, the person that is joining your group. It's a fucking person. It's not a lead. It's not a way for you to get your bag or make your next sale. It's a human, right? Like, relationship forward, right? Wins forward. If we can help people come into our group and get a win, it makes everything else easier in our own sales process, but for them. They build confidence, they build belief in themselves, because that's the fucking hardest part about building an online business, is all that noise you hear in your head saying, oh, I can't do it. I don't know anything different than what I'm doing right now. Why should I be able to live a life like that? Right? Like, then you got, this is a little bit of an advanced strategy, but you can use micro offers, little paid offers, if you wanted to feed indoctrination or feed nurturing or value at the same time, right? This is the common, you see the value ladder products, you buy this and then there's an upsell and all this type of stuff. There is a correct and a wrong way to do it, but you can also look at these as a community, right? We have a couple clients who are running low ticket paid communities, $10 a month. Everybody who's their public socials are going to a low ticket $10 a month paid community. Now, there is pros and cons to that. You will throttle volume, you will throttle engagement. Less people will come in, but it will make selling them other offers a lot easier, because the price tag does filter out people. Let's be real. but it's not always necessarily a bad thing. But this is a very powerful strategy, but it's a little bit more advanced, right? Um, Especially if you've never done. I think the digital products and like courses and all that stuff's really glamorized right now. It's not as simple as just like, you know,
Yeah.
using AI to write a ebook for you and then you're gonna make $1 million. Like it just doesn't work out like that. So
No, no. I'll throw this in there really quick. Um, a lot of people are sleeping on this right now, and I'm not really sure why. Um, but like we have a mini course. It costs $10. All right. You can join our free group and promote the free group. You can promote the $10 offer. You can promote the $100 offer. You can promote the $950 offer. Like when you join our free group, you can be an affiliate for our stuff. And anyone who comes into the group based on your affiliate link, if they buy the $10 thing, you earn $5. If they take the $100 offer, which is a monthly thing, you earn $50 every single month that they pay. If you sell the $950, you get half of that, $425, right? So like you've already got your own micro offers as an affiliate if you wanted them. People sleep on it for some odd reason. So like it is a little bit advanced. So if you don't want to, go out and start creating your own shit right away, which we would not recommend, get good at affiliate marketing first. Get good at building a personal brand. All right. Get the basics and fundamentals down, and you'll fly. Okay.
and that's a really good point too, because it's like you got to remember affiliate marketing as a whole is purely a monetization piece. It's like you have this, there's so much noise around like digital marketing versus affiliate marketing, and like you can't be an affiliate marketer if you're not doing digital marketing. Like you have to be creating content, building attention, pulling all this stuff to yourself, and that's just a monetization vehicle. And it doesn't, like, I think another thing that people tend to forget is like the monetization vehicle will change. It doesn't, you don't have to have it all figured out right now. And the cool part about, say, if you're doing affiliate stuff is like you purely have to learn how to create attention to yourself, potentially convert clients, and then you can start formulating your own processes and strategies on the back end. It's exactly how we ended up creating Group Juice, is because we were selling an affiliate product. Then we ran case study groups on the back, testing a strategy with small groups of people. Hey, we're going to show you how we're growing our group. Oh, shit, this person took their group to 1,000 people. I don't even have 1,000 people in my group. This might be a thing. Right. So that's a good real-time representation of you taking your affiliate offers or your thing, and then you're cross-pollinating that into a different offer of your own. Right. Again, you have an indoctrination station training here too. Not going to run through these, but you do have a bunch of tactics, breakdowns, why you're building a group, how to create content externally from your group, because eventually you'll want to have these different layers in your business, right? The public content's to pull in attention. Group content is to, that's the ultimate goal, right? So you have this training as well. Obviously it's not necessarily specifically a training, but it's a doc for you to go out and have, right? Also gives you post framework. So
It's color coded, so there's
yeah,
no
color
reason
coded.
why you can't follow it.
And you got some different content ideas broken down into a few different buckets, stories, stuff like that. I know that's probably the biggest thing. I don't know what to post content about. Anything. I know that sounds so cliche, but something is better than nothing.
Yeah, we just laid it all out for you. And like the only thing that we ask is as you're going through this stuff, including this training, if you happen to go back through it, please do us a favor, that's not even a word, a favor, and let us know in your own opinion, like what you think this should be worth. Like we're giving it to you for free. All right. So don't make a mistake thinking that because it's free that it's not worth your time or worth implementing, because this is literally what we've done to sell like a lot of stuff online, not just affiliate stuff, not just our own stuff, but physical products too. Like we've literally done this and sold all kinds of shit. Okay. All right. So keep that in mind. The next little part we got is the conversions. Okay. This is where relationships really begin and the money is made, right? We call it our Zoomless Sales Codex. We have learned a lot from Travis Sago and Jacob Karras, the most from Jacob, 100%. But this right here, like your Zoomless Sales Codex, happens because of the first two pillars. Calls will become pretty much unnecessary. Like right now, folks know that we're not getting on a call with them to sell them something. If they think they still need a call, they need to go and consume more content. This is why we go heavy on content, right? If anyone's been paying attention to me and Nate for even 24 hours, they've probably seen us post multiple pieces of content. We are constantly talking about stuff and explaining what it is we do, how we help, results we've got, results we've helped with other people, what our model is, the work involved, investment, et cetera, et cetera. So by the time we chat to them in the DMs, they don't need a call. They know they're ready to go. Okay. So like your leads, prospects, humans, people, they're going to be sold on you, your process, and your prices like separately, reducing the need for hard sales. Like we will not fucking hard sell anyone. We don't even care if they got 10 grand ready to go. If it's not a good fit or we don't get a good vibe, they can keep their money, right? Like we just don't operate that way. So all of our stuff, because of this, is quick, it's casual, and it's pretty laid back. Ask anyone who's bought anything from us in the DMs. Like we don't twist arms. We're very, very easy. But this is because of the community content and the PDFs and everything working together as a whole, so you can close easy in the DMs. Okay. Now, one thing that I see a lot of folks not doing is they're just selling products and they're letting like the buyers just buy and be gone, right? If you want to really get in tune with what we are teaching here, I don't care if you sell a software. I don't care if you sell a 6-pack of dildos, okay? I really don't. But you should have some kind of support community for the people that are buying from you, all right? If I could go on and give you an example with the 6-pack of dildos if you want, but it'd probably be explicit, so I'll stay away from that. But let's just say you sell a software, right? Let's say you're selling Repurpose, like that's one of your main affiliate offers. Anyone who buys from you, they should have a support group with you where you're showing them how to use the software, what your workflow looks like, how you're setting it up, how you're using it, right? Like the whole 9 on the software. That way you're supporting them because you made a commission when they bought. So now you're going to get recurring revenue from that because it's a software, it's a service, right? So you want to support them and build the relationships up and show them how you're using it in your business, how it's helping you, time it's saving, et cetera, et cetera. This is going to make the relationship stronger. That way, the next time you come out with something, they're going to see, okay, well, I've had a great experience with this. Maybe I should grab this too, right? You have the retention piece, okay? So if you establish the right support systems based on things that people are buying from you, like, and they have a positive experience with you, they're going to keep buying shit from you over and over and over and keep working with you for a long ass time, right? This is like super powerful on promoting affiliate products, okay? So just keep that in mind, guys. And then there's another bomb ass free resource down here that's got scripts, frameworks, templates, scenarios, all stuff that we picked up and learned from Jacob. Like we got to give credit where credit is due. But like you can pick this up. You can study this, you can use this. Like we're not going to go over it because it's like literally a ton of information and different scenarios in there. But if you struggle around what to say, fucking use this. There's probably a scenario in there that you've already went through yourself personally as a buyer or personally as you trying to sell something. So there's that. Okay.
And don't sleep on this piece right here. Like Flip mentioned this, but like I'll give you guys a real-time example. I had somebody purchased $100 affiliate product from me, and that person ended up working in our coaching program with us for 2.5 years. I've met that person in real life multiple times. This person has, and the relationship all started from her purchasing a $100 product, an affiliate product from me, putting her into the buyers community and building those relationships with her. Right. She moved with us. She went to different programs, different offers, different strategies. She hung out with us multiple times in person. And it all started from a post-purchase relationship, which is a polarizing thing in this market, especially in the affiliate space or like the master resale rights space. It's like sell the product and go find a new client. Which kind of rolls into the last phase, is we're very big on retention. We don't just want to sell offers to people. Obviously we want to sell. We run a business. We also want to look at ways that we can retain people, keep working with people, bake in monthly recurring revenue, work with people for 6, 12, 24, 36 months, because we enjoy that piece, but it also creates security. It makes these other things a lot easier because you'll end up having a lot better marketing because of it. So we can kind of break it down into 4 different ways to look at retaining clients. The one of the phrases that got burned into my brain very early on is the relationship begins after the yes. Something I heard from Jacob probably 2019, right? The relationship with your customers begin after they purchase from you. That's when it starts, which obviously you still build relationships and do all that, but it's just an analogy for how you need to look at the people that purchase products from you. Like if you're selling people products and you're ghosting them and you're never talking to them again, you're going to continuously run in a loop of like, I need to find my next client. I need to find my next sale. And you're going to eventually burn out. I've watched it happen so many times with so many people, no retention, no buyers community, no community of their own. And it's just acquire a customer, acquire customer, acquire customer. And eventually you can only do that for so long, right? So the stress melter, focus on some type of recurring element. If you guys notice, we've done this with a lot of our offers, right? We had group juice. It's sold 690 times at a minimum of $1,000, and we rolled out a membership. We baked it into, hey, you get instant access for $100. All of the trainings and strategies that people have paid thousands of dollars for, down into a $100 a month membership. We did that for a couple of reasons. One, to bake in more monthly recurring revenue, but also lower the barrier of entry, more volume, more people, more impact, right? So some type of recurring revenue element. Now these do really compound over time. So the biggest thing is I think a lot of people don't like to play with this because they want to operate from how can I make the most amount of cash this month versus like, where will my income be in the next 6 months if I focus on this, right? The compound effect, as I just mentioned, if you focus on this, we focused on this probably even before we rolled out the group juice membership. It was still a very big focus of ours. We were running a lot of payment plans. We've ran core, our high ticket continuity program for the last 3 years. That has always been a thing in the background that we've been running. But building it all the way up to a $30,000 a month recurring income stream, which then makes everything else better in your content and your conversations and how you're showing up in your business, because you're not sitting down at your computer and being like, hey, what do I need to write that's going to make somebody buy from me right now? It's like, hey, what can I write that's going to help somebody do something and then potentially generate some interest and then find the right people to buy my offer? Because when you start selling to better people, they show up, they do the work, they start having success with whatever your mechanisms are, then it makes everything else easier too. The content's better. Because then it's like, hey, I just had this client who took my weight loss program. She's looking the best for her wedding and she lost 20 pounds. She never felt as good about herself in the last 15 years. You got 5 other women that are about to get married that want to sign up for your weight loss program, right? Apparently weight loss is on my brain today. So, so, no way. Now this is a cool one that we've done a lot, right? Is the recurring element. Elastic pricing. Now you can only really do this if you have your own products, your own paid programs, but this is something that we've done a lot behind the scenes. If you do have the ability to do this, it's not going to hurt. Because like if you can start to become elastic with getting people into your offers, and I'm not saying if you run like a physical brick and mortar business, you can't do this because your margins are probably a lot lower. But if you have like a coaching business or a digital product business, uh, finding what people can do and meeting them there. Like there's actually a script on this up here, but uh, these usually convert at a very high percentage, and you never really know what's going to happen. So the example I'll give you guys is sometime last year, we had somebody who came to us and they couldn't afford group juice. At the time, I think it was $1,000 or 194 times eight. And they were like, hey, I can only afford $75 a month. So behind the scenes, we were like, fine. Like if you want this and you genuinely want to, jump in and you want to take this stuff at hand and get moving, come on in. That person turned around and made thousands and thousands of dollars in sales. They were happy. We were happy, but we were elastic with the pricing. It wasn't like a whole public shift. Now, if you guys have the ability to do this behind the scenes for certain people, it can really start to make your sales a lot easier because they feel tailor-made. They feel tailored to the individual, right? It's not like, oh, you can't afford my $10,000 mastermind. Fuck you. I'm never talking to you again. Like, hey, well, what can you do? Like, hey, you really want to do this and you want to work with me? Well, what could you afford? How can we
We
work
lost you,
together on
Nate.
this problem?
Your audio went out, my dude.
Mm.
Last thing to, y'all can still hear me, right? Jay or Nate?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, Nate, I got you back. I got you back now, Nate. I just want to make sure.
It was my internet. It's that Starlink.
Damn, I got you.
Um, lastly, deeper than dollars, right? If you got into this business just to make buku bucks, if you got into this business for reasons other than just making buku bucks, this will be the biggest benefactor, right? You'll end up building a lot of kick-ass relationships with folks, and you get to work with them for a longer period of time, and you ultimately get to create more impact beyond just money, which I think is extremely fulfilling compared to like, hey, I helped so and so make all this money, but they had to sell their soul to get 1 million views. Like, this is a big part. Like, genuinely helping people change their lives is probably one of the most fulfilling aspects about what we do. So this is the thing, right? So these are kind of the 4 different things we look at when we're looking at ascending or retaining clients, recurring revenue, which builds slower or a bit of elastic pricing, and then also looking at everything extremely long term, right? Like best case scenario, I would want to work with some of you guys for years, right? Or as long as you would want to work with us. It's not a matter of like, hey, come work with me for 60 days and then we're going to break up. Like flipping myself operate our business from looking longer time horizon. This goes from how we create content and who we end up selling products to, but just some examples of like the last stage. But again, a lot of you guys won't even have to worry about all of this yet, except for maybe like the recurring revenue stuff. You guys can definitely start melting that in, but ascending to other offers isn't necessarily a thing if you don't have another offer, right?
100%.
We'll kind of skim through this. This is also another doc for you guys around melting stress with monthly recurring revenue. Different ways you can do it. Low ticket continuity, high ticket continuity. We've done both. We do both. We have both, actually. So all sorts of different ways.
All the stuff that people say don't work, we've been doing it for a long time, and they say it doesn't work. It's been working. Doo-doo. It's doo-doo, baby. Don't do that. It's doo-doo, baby. Nah, it's only doo-doo if you don't do the work. Okay. Straight like that. Right. So we tried to include a bunch of not just a bunch of information, but a lot of actionable things that you guys can slowly chip away at. Okay. Like Nate said, we're not going to go through these docs. You guys can go through these on your own time, but we literally gave you guys some stuff that we have charged for. Okay. So don't sleep on the information, which will kind of bring us to a close on the training per se. And I just want to share this with you. Again, we don't twist arms. We don't beg people to buy. But the month of August we are taking a few folks on. And for those of you that do not know, we charge anywhere from 5 to 10K to work with us for 6 to 12 months. And we've kind of opened up a couple slots to take on a few folks, not that many, because they get a lot from us. But we can help you inject one or all 4 of the stages that we covered today into your business. We don't work with different people on the same things. It's all different things with different people. All right. So like we just try and cater to you. And we're looking for a small group. We've already got 2 folks that have taken us up on that and a couple clients that have renewed with us. So some spots are gone. But we were just doing this with another client, and they're probably going to end their 30-day sprint with about 27,000 because they got one more sale about to come across the door. But as you can see in the message right there, they've already done over 20 grand, over 15,000 collected, and they paid us $500. Right, so that's what we're doing. You get to come in and run a trial with us. We want to kind of run a cash campaign, depending on where you're at. If you're not in a position to run a promo cycle with your audience, we can work on building an audience so you can get to that. But we're glad to do something that's customized and personalized to you if you're ready to do some work and be a little bit uncomfortable. All right. Me and Nate's job is to like light the way for you, make you a little uncomfortable, but brainstorm with you and listen to what you really want to do. Ask anyone who's been in core. That's what we do. Josh, he just joined us. Ask him. Ask him if we're, assholes, which we kind of are, but we make it fun. Anyways, ask him privately. See what he'll tell you. But if you want to work with us with a super low investment, you can message me or Nate on Facebook or in school. Either way, doesn't matter. And we've got something that you can read, so you actually see everything that you're getting long before you make the investment. Right, up to you. You can just message me or Nate with the little initials there, CCS, so we'll know that you're talking about the community conversion system. Right. So we'll open up for a little bit of Q&A. But if you want to work with us, hit us up. We've got a couple spots open. We would love to chat to you about it. If you've been thinking about it, now's the time to stop thinking and just fucking do it. All right.
If not, go take some of this stuff. You guys look at what we're doing. Like it's a fun fact. We're using the community conversion system to make you guys an offer right now. Most people won't see that, but like we're telling you, like, that's what we're doing. That's what we do.
How we roll.